and welcome to the In a Nutshell podcast with myself, Andrew Miles Davis, and my co-host, Chris Branch. The daily 10-minute podcast where we strip out all of the techie stuff around generative AI and focus on what the everyday marketer, content creator, and everyday person wants to hear. Now, we've only got 10 minutes, so we can only focus on one particular subject. And today, we're continuing our predictions for 2024. And we've already spoke about video and the impact of video is going to be a big year. And we also spoke about AI influencers. Today, we're going to double down on a subject that we've spoke about numerous times on numerous podcast episodes. And that essentially is the big boys taking over. And we believe 2024, where at the moment you've got loads of, hundreds and thousands of small AI companies doing this and that and this and that, we believe that this year, the big guys, the Googles, the Metas, the Microsofts, the Apples, they're all going to really kind of have a big focus on AI, and it will just wipe out a lot of small startups. Either wipe them out or they'll buy them. But we can just really see it being, this is going to be a big year for them. So, Chris, what's your predictions in this particular space?
So it's a harsh reality, and we've experienced this as an agency for 10 plus years, that if you prove something is popular in SaaS, big companies will copy it. And one of those things was Clubhouse, right? Like Clubhouse was an audio only technology. It proved a need for audio. And now we have Twitter Spaces, LinkedIn audio, Instagram audio. Everywhere's got audio, right? It was just a feature and not a platform. Now we're talking about platform level companies today, guys. You know, Apple is most iPhones, you know, every iPhone in the world. If you've got that, you've got patented software, you've got OS, you've got this, you've got that. They can implement generative AI there, where they've already got tens of millions of eyeballs ready to go. Microsoft has Teams, and it also has, you know, your software on your computer. And if you've got like a type of computer, then you can get that on the next Windows update, could have generative AI baked into it. So like, this is what we're talking about in terms of today's episode. And Andrew rightly said that like so many things right now have just been small little use cases that could easily be gobbled up into any of these giant companies, should they be, you know, and they can use it as a proving ground. Like, and supermarkets are really bad for this. Like Tesco's here in the UK, they see what sells, like Heinz ketchup, and then they make Tesco value versions of that shit. You know, like that's how they operate. So
But
similar.
Amazon does that as well.
Yeah, and the iPhone App Store as well. Like, think about that. They make their own apps based on the popularity of other people's app development in their store that they charge 30% for in order to get a digital download. And they own the ecosystem and are getting sued for that. So it's a difficult one.
It's difficult. I used to do it. I used to sell like a few things on Amazon using their FBA Amazon, so fulfillment by Amazon. And what I noticed is that as soon as something does really well, Amazon will have their version of it.
Of course.
It's just market research and what happens in a capitalist society.
And their marketplaces, and that's what they do, is they use big data on what sells through their marketplace in order to make cheaper versions of that stuff. And that's literally what they do.
And that's what's going to happen this year. If you look at some of the things that you use, let's say, for example, a chatbot, so like a text-to-text, like a ChatGPT, or an image generator like a Midjourney, or a video one like a Runway ML, or an audio one like 11 Labs. Rather than going to 4 different ones, I can see this year it all kind of, you can go almost do everything in one particular space.
Multimodal,
That multimodal. So in ChatGPT, where I can use it and I can create images, soon it'll be video, soon it'll be audio, but then soon it will be connected to my email. So even though there are AI email like responders out there, and also AI CRMs as well to kind of organize your database, rather than you having 3 or 4 or 5 different tools, it's just going to be one. And Microsoft is really pushing this at the moment with Copilot. No, let me correct myself. They're not pushing it just yet, but you're going to see a huge push at the first quarter of the year. You know, they're really going to push that Copilot. Google will do the same. So if you've got Outlook, it'll be Copilot. Google, if you're on Google Workspace, whatever they call it now, that will be the same. Then when you start adding in your phone, Samsung, this month they've said they're going to do it. Like, they've got a big conference coming up, and it's It's Samsung AI. That's what it's
Mhm.
called. And something that you said, which was really, really interesting. What's Apple gonna do?
Yeah.
I think that is the one where everyone's waiting. What is Apple gonna do in this space? Because if Apple control a huge percentage of the mobile phones,
Mhm.
if Apple control a huge percentage of the laptops and the desktops, if Apple control Apple TV and all of this, and you know what it's like when you're being with Apple, they've got you in your
Mhm.
ecosystem. If you've got one, it just seamlessly works with everything
Yeah.
else. Once they put AI within that, and it'll be their versions of AI, again, you're going to see a huge change in this whole market.
Yeah.
So I think Apple's going to be like all of the big boys, the Metas, the Microsoft, as I said, they're all going to do their thing. But I think Apple's going to be the one that's really going to kind of what I think a lot of people are waiting for.
Do you know what? I've just as you were saying that, Google has had so many lawsuits over the years because of unfair practices. They
Yeah,
literally promote their own things inside Google above other people's marketplaces so that they can get more revenue. And that's been found through the court, like to be guilty on several occasions. They've had to pay out millions, if not billions of dollars to places that they demoted purposely in their own platform. Now,
yeah,
when you said Apple AI on your iPhone, I thought they could easily just say, well, we won't allow anything else.
yeah,
Other than
yeah,
Apple AI, if you get an iPhone, it'll only work with Apple Generative AI and not Microsoft's and stuff like that. Because Microsoft put 10 billion into OpenAI, and so that's clearly one where they're not going to want that competition. If you own an iPhone, they're going to use the Apple Generative AI. So
yeah.
it's going to be a weird one where we might see a lot more lawsuits because they don't allow third party generative AI on their platforms and
Well,
stuff.
they'll allow you to download the apps, but I think they'll push their
Yeah,
version.
it will come
Yeah,
with Siri. It will come with
yeah,
their generative AI. You won't need
yeah,
to
yeah.
install it,
You don't need
and
to
therefore
install
it
it.
will
That's
just
the
be,
thing.
why would you get another one when it's already there?
Yeah, exactly. Unless it goes down to a preference thing. So, for example, if I've used ChatGPT, if I'm using ChatGPT and I've got my folders and I've got a particular way of working,
Yeah,
and I've spent 6, 7 months building it, for
right.
me to then go and do the same in Apple, it might just be too much. I might as well just download the app. But most people won't be doing that. Most people, really, when it comes to I think once it goes on your phone, that's where it becomes
Mm.
really kind of to the general public that will kind of really understand.
Can you remember, like, about 10, 12 years ago when mobile phone operators made it so that you could swap over your number and keep your number and
Yeah,
they'll take all your contacts and everything? And
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
yeah.
big sell, wasn't it? Is that
Mm.
you don't need to change all that and restart again. Maybe that might happen.
You
Maybe
know,
you'll
it
be able
might.
to
Yeah,
export all of your like
for
generative
everything.
AI usage and then import it to another one.
Yeah, that'll be handy. That'll be very handy. If
Very
they could do that.
handy.
Yeah, but it's yeah. I think also Amazon's going to play very very big in this space.
Big call that. Big
That's
call.
going to be another big call, and it'll be interesting to see if Amazon just sticks to AI this year, sticks
Yeah.
to AI just on the Amazon products, or are they going to create their like a another product that
Mm.
like separate product that is going to be very much kind of going like a software that will go into computers or phones, etc.
I could easily see that because they've
Mm,
just put a few billion into Anthropic, which is
yeah,
Claude, and that's the direct competitor of ChatGPT and OpenAI. So I could really see them coming out with their own version of Claude in Amazon
yeah,
Cloud or something like that for sure. I could see that.
yeah. So I think we've got obviously Microsoft will just continue doing what they're doing with OpenAI. Meta's for me, Meta's they've almost done like a sprinkler approach. They're trying so many different things, and I think they're just trying to see what sticks. But they'll know this year something will
Mm,
stick, and then you're going to see AI within WhatsApp. That's going to be interesting, and because
mm,
obviously that's one of the most downloaded apps
definitely.
on iPhone and Android,
That's another
or
great
iOS
call.
and Android, and then it will be probably using Meta's AI
Hmm.
for it. So again, it's going to be a very, very, very interesting space.
Yeah, not to confuse any of the audience, and I know we've only got a little bit left, but the weird thing about Meta is they're a dark horse that's open sourcing their technology, unlike
Mm,
others that are trying to monetize that. Like, they're literally just open sourcing it. But yeah, in a nutshell, for this episode, expect the big players. You called out so many of them: WhatsApp, Amazon, all these guys, they're all going to come out. Apple, hopefully. let's see, what's going to happen in this space, but expect a lot of change on your devices that are generative AI orientated for sure.